March 9th, media in the Washington asked why Comey was fired today if it was really all about Hillary Clinton. On the very same day, that morning, they reported on mainstream media that the FBI issued a correction to Comey's sworn testimony in front of Congress the day before over Huma Abedin's routinely sending emails to husband and many was classified. This is the actual letter sent to the Congress to clarify the statement when he said that she routinely did it. Turns out there were only a few hundred, and he said thousands of them were classified. Turns out they weren't all classified. In fact, none of them were. I will not attempt to go into someone's mind and figure out what they were thinking, including Trump's. However, this alone shows you that even after all of the problems Comey had by going out in public and making the statements that he did, he clearly had not learned his lesson about making sure of his facts before he spoke. The reason Flynn was fired was specifically because he answered questions to people without being sure of his facts. He didn't look back on his papers and make sure of what he was saying before he said it. Trump said himself, and in front of many other people, that he did not believe that he could trust Flynn not to do this again. So he fired him. And you now wonder why he turns around and fires Comey for, again, with a pattern of mentioning things without being sure of his facts in front of people under sworn testimony. This is a report that I found on the internet from, I believe, CBS, who said the FBI director, James Comey, is fired by Trump. It says on the byline, May 9th, 2017. All of the news networks for months now have been saying, why now? Even though on the same day that he fired him, there was a clarification issued by the FBI. They know this. An FBI director swears under oath that someone routinely breaks the secrecy clause of her oath, and it turns out it had no substance. It is clear the FBI director had not become more sensitive to his past mistakes, and we had every reason to believe he would do it again. Consider, if Trump would fire Flynn because he lost confidence that Flynn would learn from his mistake and do a better job about making sure of what he is talking about factually, then how can this be a surprise? The FBI director is at least as important as an NSA director, as someone the president must rely on to be careful in his words. The president would be making decisions based on these men who clearly are not as careful and mindful of how important the job actually is. The major problem Trump has is the inability to find people to defend his actions. Even his texts never point out effectively the media derangement. Fact is, as a CEO, he doesn't have to defend his decisions, and he tends to think that it is obvious. It should be out. Media never go with the obvious. They go for sensational. Trump needs to learn the language of the media. And while I do sympathize that it is difficult to dumb yourself down to the level of media intentional pretense of stupidity, citizens have jobs, and so we get information in bursts. They give one intentional misunderstood comment by the media the semblance of facts. No, I am not saying the media are stupid. They understand a mistake attributed to others equals ratings, and it is up to the person to defend himself effectively. The media's version of let the buyer beware. Trust in the media has slid, and this last year it just collapsed. Media still act like nothing changed. I've said this many times. We need a strong media. Sadly, it looks like for at least another year it will slide further before they start to face the consequences of issuing a prophecy. Hillary can't lose. Liberals want to hide from the reality, so they enable the media to avoid facing the consequences. Both are codependent, needing each other to avoid facing reality, and it has risked the unity of the United States, and that must stop, but only if the both of them will face reality.